Those who fled the wildfire that swept through Lahaina town on August 8th have described their harrowing escape as the most terrifying event of their life. The hurricane winds roared like they'd never heard before. Cars exploded as they succumbed to the inferno. Crackling flames consumed building after building. People screamed for help, but no one came. And as people fled, a blinding black smoke snaked through the streets. It was as if hell had brought all of its fury to the historic oceanfront town. Thousands of people in Lahaina were living through the scariest of nightmares. Beto Gonzalez managed a laundry business in Lahaina. Earlier that day, the power was out, the wind began to build, and there was smoke visible from Lahaina town. He had a bad feeling, so he headed to work to turn off the gas. But just 1 block away from his home, something remarkable happened.
I heard my mother's voice in my head tell me, "Go back."
Beto's mother had passed away, so he was stunned to hear her speak to him as if she was standing next to him. It was like a 911 call from heaven.
When I heard her voice, I turned around and I tried to go back, and I was only a block away, but the traffic was already very bad, and it took me a whole hour to go 1 block to go back home.
The eerie swirling wind picked up speed, and the fire got closer. There was no cell phone service, no internet. When Beto finally arrived home, he was shocked by what he saw. His family was crouched together in a bathtub.
I didn't realize that my wife had been texting me and calling me saying, please come back, because at that time, the roof of the house has already lifted, and she needed my help, and my 10-year-old daughter and my 5-month-old baby needed my help.
He grabbed baby formula and their most important documents, and then ran next door to check on his wife's sister and her 5-year-old son, his nephew. They also were taking shelter in the bathroom. He picked up his nephew, and they all ran to the car. That's when they had a second stroke of luck.
So when we all got in the car, thankfully, we drove past a big tree that fell behind us, so we were able to avoid that.
They were stuck, like so many others, in a long line of drivers frantically trying to exit Lahaina town. Traveling just 5 blocks took them 90 minutes, and during that time they had a front row view of the growing chaos. Beto felt powerless.
During this hour and a half, I saw people on the street, specifically a lady with a stroller, and she was running for her life, and I couldn't help her because I had a full car, and there was no way that I can help her. And I keep thinking, did this lady survive? Did this lady die? And my guilt, my conscience doesn't allow me to just be okay with the situation.
The flames quickly closed in, and he thought about abandoning the car, but he was convinced his baby girl would die if she was exposed to that merciless smoke. That's when something even more terrifying happened.
So during the time that I was in the car with my family thinking about whether we should get out of the car and try to run, and there was flames and smoke all around us, the car in front of us caught on fire.
He did what many others did that day.
And at that time I thought, we're not going to make it, and we started praying.
He believes his family was saved thanks to divine intervention, a miracle.
I 100% think that my mom was the one that I heard, and I know that that's the reason why I turned back. I just thank God, and I thank my mother that they are the ones that helped me save my family.
Beto and his family have no home to return to.
My apartment building is now a bunch of ashes. There's nothing left.
And while Beto says he struggles emotionally because he couldn't save anyone besides his family, he realizes how blessed he is.
I am very thankful for my life and the life of my family that we survived.
Teresa Martinez Robles work for the same laundry company as Beto, and to each other, they are like family. Teresa lives with her 2 grown sons, including one with special needs, and her 5-year-old grandson. They could hear the wind building and the tree limbs cracking and crashing outside.
So we were very scared that day. We didn't want to go outside.
An emergency evacuation warning popped up on Teresa's phone, but she doesn't read English. She ran to her neighbor's apartment.
The neighbor said, "It says to leave now. Let's get out of here right now." So I ran back home and told my son, put some, tennis shoes on, and we grabbed whatever we could for food for the baby, and we all started heading out of the apartment.
As all the tenants began to evacuate, the building caught on fire. Teresa and her family finally made it to their car.
There was nowhere to go. You couldn't get anywhere because of the traffic. And then there was the fire all over around us.
No one in their family can swim. Teresa realized it was time to make an important judgment call.
The fire was upon us, on top of us, and I told my son, "You need to react because we either are going to die in this fire or we're going to die in the water drowning. But we need to make a decision. There is nowhere to go."
The family parked the car. Wrapping the little boy in a blanket, they climbed over rocks and jumped into the ocean, joining many others who chose water over fire. But the ocean can be a dangerous place too, especially when you can't swim. They were in the ocean for 9 hours.
You can feel the embers and the explosions of the cars. So we kept throwing water on ourselves to save ourselves and our skin from burning.
And they watched as they were cut off from land altogether.
The fire was even close to where the rocks are. There was fire on the rocks. There was no way of getting out.
Teresa kept her deepest fears to herself, sharing them only with God.
So inside of me, I was afraid, and I was praying to God to keep me from watching my grandson suffer. But inside of me, I kept it silent, and in the outside, I kept telling my family, everything's going to be okay. God is with us, and I believe in God, and He's going to help us. But inside of me, I thought the world was going to come to an end. So my son kept telling me, "I can't do this anymore, Mom. I can't do this anymore." After being in the ocean with salt water for so long, your eyes start burning. The smoke makes your eyes burn. Your skin feels like it's burning. And I kept telling my son, "You have to be strong. You have to be strong for your son. You cannot give up."
It was at 2 a.m. when the fire department took them to safety. The fires were still burning.
We didn't drown, and we didn't even know how to swim. So that was a miracle. And I know that God has a purpose for us because we're alive, and He has given us the miracle to be together at the time of this horrific event, and we're all safe. And I give God the glory for that.
Ivan Villar Martinez managed 3 hostels in Lahaina with as many as 60 visitors. As the wind picked up, Ivan saw the smoke was getting thicker, and it looked like there were tornadoes forming over the ocean.
I started to listen how many explosions, and I saw how all the smoke was behind of us, because all was very, very, very fast, and just in a seconds. So for that reason, I decided to tell to all the people, "Hey, please, we need to go. Yes, this is the moment."
He told everyone to get out of their rooms and head to their cars. He was the last to leave. As the fires closed in, he piled the rest of the staff into his friend's car and they fled.
I think it's a miracle that we are alive.
That may be true, but some who know Ivan's story say he is the miracle, the earth angel who saved so many lives.